vital for promoting connectivity, trade, economic growth, and employment. Yet, it is also implicated as a significant source of greenhouse gas emission. Resolving these trade-offs is essential to achieving sustainable transport and through that, sustainable development. In its 2016 report, the Secretary General's High-Level Advisory Group defined sustainable transport as the provision of services and infrastructure for the mobility of people and goods, advancing economic and social development to benefit today's and future generations in a manner that is safe, affordable, accessible, efficient, and resilient, while minimizing carbon and other emissions and environmental impacts. Sustainable transport is therefore not an end in itself but a means to achieve sustainable development. Sustainable transport, sustainable development. Sustainable transport, with its objective of universal access, enhanced safety, reduced environmental and climate impact, improved resilience, and greater efficiency, is central to sustainable development. Apart from providing services and infrastructure for the mobility of people and goods, sustainable transport is a cross-cutting accelerator that can fast-track process towards their crucial goals such as eradicating poverty in all its dimensions, reducing inequality, empowering women, and combating climate changes.
UN Secretary General, Message for World Sustainable Transport Day, 26 November 2023. This first World Sustainable Transport Day reminds us that the road to a better future depends on cleaner and greener transportation systems. Transportation represents the world's circulatory system, delivering people and goods across countries and around the world, creating jobs and supporting prosperity. But it is also fueling climate chaos. The transport sector is responsible for approximately 1/4 of all greenhouse gas emissions. 91% of the energy used in motorized transport on land, sea, and air is derived from fossil fuels. This makes the sector one of the most difficult to decarbonize. But I am convinced humanity is up to the challenge of breaking our addiction to climate-killing fossil fuels and creating resilient, efficient, and low-carbon transportation systems grounded in innovative, renewable energy sources. From electric and solar powered vehicles to renewable aviation fuel sources to massive investments in green public transportation systems to measures like carbon pricing and subsidies for low carbon fuels, we can steer our societies towards a cleaner and more sustainable path for people and planet. There is no time to waste. Let's get moving.
Your guide to climate action, transport, whether it's for work or for pleasure, the choices of making on how we get from one place to another, driving, flying, riding, biking, scooting, and public transportation. We can have a large impact on carbon emissions. Today, the transportation sector results in the greatest carbon emission. Today, the transportation of our roadways are predominantly filled with cars and vehicles that burn fossil fuels, which lead to carbon emissions. Aviation is another area in transportation sector that consumes a large amount of fossil fuels and account for 10% of global emission in the transport sector. To preserve a lively climate, the average annual carbon emission per person will need to drop from 6.3 tons to 2.1 tons by 2030. As recommended by experts, making informed lifestyle choices when it comes to transport can help us reduce carbon emissions and improve air quality. A win-win situation. A long haul flight, for example, New York City to Tokyo one way, is on average almost 2 tons of carbon dioxide emission. Remember, globally, the average annual carbon footprint per person is 5.9 tons. Flying has a significant impact on our planet because planets are heavy and their engines are required a lot of fuel to power. Burning fossil fuels to get their energy and produce astronomical amounts of emission as a result. Even medium or short-haul flights communicatively have a large impact on tons of 0.2 to 1.5 tons per trip. Alternative method of transportation such as train, bus can be a planet-friendly option. If you're traveling from business, planning ahead and reduce the number of trips needed by taking a single long trip can help eliminate the number of flights indeed. For a personal vacation, what destinations are accessible via train, bus, or a short car drive?
Walk, bike, take public transport or carpool. Walking and biking are naturally the least carbon intensive means of transport. If your end destination is walkable or bikeable, consider increasing the number of times you walk or bike each week. If your destination is too far to walk or bike, consider taking public transportation. Shifting from cars to public transportation can reduce up to 2.2 tons of carbon emission annually per individual. If you do need to travel by car, carpooling can result in up to 1.0 tons of carbon emission reduced. Feeling ambitious. Living car free can reduce your annual carbon footprint by up to 3.6 tons. If is your destination within walking or biking distance, what public transportation options are available to get to your destination? Is carpooling an option a few times a week or month? Consider shared mode of transportation. Whether it is a bike, a scooter or car, services that provide shared access can help reduce emission in several ways. Shared service have a higher utilization and can reduce the need for net new manufacturing. For example, bike share program result in higher utilization per bike and need for fewer bikes to be purchased, which is win-win. Keep in mind that emission do not only come from using a bike or car. There are also manufacturing emission. So the less we need to manufacture, the lower the emission. Shared electric vehicle service also exists in cities like Berlin and New York. A great way to gain access to lower emission option if you only occasionally need a car. What shared transport services are available in your city or district?
Consider an electric vehicle. If your household needs to purchase a car, consider an electric vehicle. This is especially impactful if your city or district has a large percentage of renewable energy sources in its electricity grid. In general, switching from a regular vehicle to an EV can reduce your carbon footprint by an average of 2 tons per year. If there are second-hand EVs available where you live, even better. As manufacturing new EVs require a high amount of minerals and precious metals. Mining these resources result in carbon emission, but the longer we use the vehicle, the lower the manufacturing emissions will become over time. Keeping the vehicle in good shape with regular maintenance will also ensure a longer lifetime. Last but not the least, the smaller the vehicle, the less energy required to move it. Consider purchasing a smaller vehicle to reduce overall carbon emission. Globally, the average annual carbon footprint per individual is 5.9 tons. Living car-free can reduce your annual carbon footprint by up to 3.6 tons. Switching from a regular vehicle to an electric vehicle can reduce your carbon footprint by an average of 2 tons per year.